What's going on, guys? I'm Maze, and recently a brand new episode for the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime aired on TV. Episode 109, The Birth of an Island Kahuna, Ash's Grand Trial, which it was a adequate time watching the episode. So because of that, I've decided for today's video that I will review this latest episode. Hopefully getting yourself to check out the episode too, if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments down below for today's question of the day though, what you personally thought of this episode. I'd love to hear. With my intro for this video now set though, let's jump right into this review. So the episode begins off with us witnessing a ceremony by Tapu Fini, which crowns Hapu as the Island Kahuna, which I guess was pretty sweet to see in the anime. This concluding Hapu's overarching character, which, much like I said in my previous review, I fancy all the development Hapu has gained. As of course, in the first Pony Island Arc episode, she was shown to be the quite persistent trainer, due to losing a lot when she was younger and hating that feeling, even isolating herself a little bit from talking to other people, due to her focusing more on training to become the new Island Kahuna, something she's dreamed of for quite a while but could never achieve for some reason, and even her farming. And even if she did talk to other people, she would show quite the cold shoulder, due to her strong attitude. But once she started hanging out with Ash and his friends because of their Pony Island research projects, she gradually started to show a warmer, friendly side, due to her admiring everything the gang had been working towards for their projects, and even their never give up towards other personalities and deep bond for each other. Which of course, Hapu never really got to experience feelings like this, but cherished it deeply inside so much. In which then, Tapu Fini announces to Hapu, once begging it to release Ash, Milo and Lily in the mist in the previous episode, the new Island Kahuna, due to her finally opening up to more people and caring for them, which is so endearing. Now sure, if you've watched other anime before, you will know there's characters like Hapu, hell, even Misty in this anime if you think about it, so you might not find Hapu's character that special, which I can totally understand. But for me personally, I still admire this a lot, and I'd even go as far, although this is probably an unpopular opinion, that I like Hapu's development more than Misty. Hapu is a better Tsundere, as we'll call these kind of anime girls. So truly, overall, Hapu is someone I worship as one of the best Sun and Moon characters, because of this development I idolize so much. Very nicely written Sun and Moon. But unfortunately, when we put this development aside, the rest of the episode was pretty underwhelming to be honest, despite this episode being the final Grand Trial battle for Ash. But before we dive into why I think that, I gotta continue the story. So, after Hapu is crowned for Kahuna, she reveals to Ash, who she promised to have a Grand Trial battle with in the previous episode, where they will be battling for their battle, which is a battlefield that only emerges at night, and she also states that it will also be a 1v1 battle for some reason. Then, setting off in a very flashy way to prepare for her battle or either farm, whereas Ash and his friends start to relax after conducting superb work for their research projects, which was a kinda tiresome scene. But it did at least include an importance which we will see later on into the battle. In fact, jumping into that battle now, Hapu decides to use a Moosdale, whereas Ash decides to use Pikachu, which shocks a lot of his friends, as surely Rowlet would have been the better choice, and even Torracat and Lycanroc compared to Pikachu, who uses electric attacks which do nothing to a ground type, like Moosdale. But some did believe in Ash, even Hapu admitting that he has a backbone due to his unpredictable battle strategies. But at first, all Ash really did is keep spamming quick attack in this battle to do some decent damage on Moosdale, whereas Hapu got to Moosdale to full on high horsepower Pikachu in the face and even double kick it, which that double kick was kinda sick, not gonna lie. But Moosdale's defense did also increase after Ash attacked it at times, as it has an ability called Stamina, which allows that. So Ash was putting himself in a sticky situation. He often got Pikachu to run around the battlefield pillars too, after Hapu getting a Moosdale to use Bulldoze. Before we continue on though, I just want to remind you lot that Pikachu lost to Golok in the first Pony Island Arc episode, just by Golok using high horsepower. Yet here, Pikachu manages to live Moosdale's high horsepower, double kick, and even bulldoze, which is very weird to me. You would assume that Moosdale would be the same level as Golok, but nope. Now yes, Pikachu is running, but he definitely took a lot of damage from Moosdale already. Like, what is this? This is something that definitely bothered me quite a little when watching the episode. Moving on though. Hapu decides to use a ground type C move against Pikachu now, which I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty cool to see this C move. Now, whereas unlike the other moves Moosdale used against Pikachu, I can at least agree with some people that Pikachu managed to dodge most of this C move, thanks to him running towards the surface instead of Moosdale bashing it to the ground fully. Though, it definitely took some damage. Don't get me wrong. And after Pikachu launches into the air after dodging the C move, Ash comes up with an intelligent plan to make Pikachu use Electric Web on the battlefield pillars, to make sure it doesn't hit the ground hard, which successfully worked and even made Pikachu splash into the water, which made Ash then come up with the strategy to soak Moosdale using the water after breaking some pillars and then use Electric Web on it. As we saw earlier on in the episode, we saw Pikachu in the water manage to electrocute everybody thanks to them being wet, which I guess is clever foreshadowing the writers made here. And after Moosdale gets hit with that Electric Web, Ash then finishes off the Pokemon by using Gigavolt Havoc, which I guess was a neat way to end the battle. But, this soak strategy has made many people angry or just a little bit upset. Now, I don't know about you personally, but I'm content with this strategy. Why though? Well, firstly, it was very predictable for me ever since we learned in the preview that Ash would use Pikachu with water surrounding it, that Ash would use this kind of soak strategy. And secondly, we've seen this before, whereas many people are trying to claim this is the first time this has ever happened. Which no, it isn't. For example, we have the gym battle against Brock with the sprinklers, and the battle against Alon's Tyranitar in the Kalos League, which Pikachu used water on the battlefield to soak the Pokemon, and then used Thunderbolt. And I'm sure there's many more instances. For those thinking this is cheating as well, you could also argue that the water was a part of the battlefield, which as we've seen before, Ash likes to use the battlefield to his advantage. Overall though, that's just my 2 cents on what happened here. If you still haven't changed your mind about this soak strategy being dumb, then fair enough. At the end of the day, we're all entitled to our own opinions. I was just trying to show you my perspective on things here. Though, I will admit, although I have seen stuff like this happen before, it's such a shame that we've seen it happen again, as it was that predictable. Before we talk about my overall final thoughts on this battle though, I need to inform you that after Ash wins this battle, Hapu gives him the choice to choose any Z Crystal, in which then Ash lets Pikachu decide for him, which Pikachu chooses for Steelium Z, which if you've catched up on the latest Sun and Moon news, I think this pretty much alludes to Ash capturing a Melton even more than before. Now yes, Pikachu has Iron Tail, hence why Pikachu chose it, but apart from the Norlanium Z, Ash has a Z Crystal for each type of his Pokemon, not just move. So, yeah. The episode then ends off the next day with Professor Kukui arriving on Pony Island and witnessing the progress his students made. Then taking them home with Ash and his friends exchanging goodbyes to Hapu on the boat. While meanwhile, at the cargo section of the boat, we witness multiple Melton messing around, which leads us into the next arc after what I assume would be a fun golf episode next week. It's gonna be hype. With that story now said, let's now move on to my overall thoughts regarding this episode. Man, despite being such a strong arc, this episode is probably my least favourite episode out of the bunch. It was such an underwhelming finish, and I didn't even have expectations before watching this episode, so I had none to throw away before watching it. It's just the fact that the battle we got to witness in this episode didn't really offer anything new apart from a Z move. And even if I did try to forget the stuff we've seen before, it's still nothing higher as an adequate battle for me. In fact, I unfortunately have to say that this Grand Trial battle is my least favourite one out of all the ones we received as well. Which one do I like the most though? Well, stay tuned for a future top 10. Hell, compared to final gym battles as well though, this battle is bound to be the least memorable, which is very disappointing. So, yeah, this battle wasn't anything too exciting compared to the others, as you can clearly tell from my reactions. One thing many people don't like about this battle too, from what I've seen, is the fact that it was only a 1v1 battle instead of a 3v3 battle. Which, although I knew this was going to be the case before watching this episode, thanks to the previews and summaries, I put that aside as I truly believe that the anime could have made a 1v1 battle very exciting, much like how they've done for the Ash vs Gladion battles so far. But nope, I don't feel much for this battle whatsoever. Maybe the 3v3 option could have made it way more entertaining. In fact, if I was to make this battle after watching the episode, I would have definitely made it a 3v3 battle, where Ash uses Pikachu, Rowlet, and Torracat, which Pikachu would do something similar in this battle, I guess, despite being kinda lackluster, but against a different Pokemon, whereas Rowlet could have battled against Golduck in the sky, which would have been sick, and then Torracat could have evolved in this battle against Moostel and learned Darkest Lariat, which ignores stat boost, which Moostel gains from Stamina, which could have been a fantastic and perfect way to end off the Grand Trial. Man, what missed potential. But I get what the writers were going for at least. For example, Torracat always seems to receive development from the Masquerade if we are to ignore Stoutland. So that's bound to be where Torracat evolves into Incineroar maybe, and even obtain the Insinium Z. Whereas for this battle, I assume the writers wanted to show somewhat high stakes by making it a 1v1 only. This showcases that this is Ash's strongest trial yet, as there's a low amount of Pokemon needed. Plus, Hapu was depicted as a very strong trainer ever since her debut episode. We also gotta accept the fact that Sun and Moon really did sacrifice battles for the sake of having more plot, hence the large amount we've received so far in the form of the game's stories and even character development in one way or another. Sun and Moon pretty much having more plot than any other series, whether you like it or not. Though, I do really hope Gen 8 has a balance of having great battles like XY had, and this plot and world building Sun and Moon has. That would be perfect. But regardless of my hope there, yeah, we just gotta keep in mind what I stated here when it comes to this episode. Though, I am still very confident on the rating I gave for this episode, being pretty fair in my eyes. Before we get into that rating though, we now need to go over the animation and music aspects. Firstly, for the animation, it looked decent throughout the whole thing, but my particular favourite highlights have to be the nice motion blur on Quick Attack, Bulldozer's animation, and Tectonic Rage. As for the music aspects, again, it was decent, but my favourite tunes have to include the Black and White League music, the Sun and Moon Totem music, whatever that smashing tune was that played during Tectonic Rage, and finally, the lovely soothing Many Island music when departing back to the island. I'm not joking, by the way. With that said though, that now concludes all the sections for this review. So all that's left is to give that rating for this episode, which I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. I don't have anything else I could possibly say here, apart from the fact that I recommend you watch this episode, as it is plot important at least. If you have watched this episode though, then once again let me know in the comments down below what you personally thought of this episode though. I'd love to hear, as we all have different opinions. But that, everybody, does not finish off this review, as I now need to provide my rating for the Pony Island Dog, which when adding all my Pony Island Dog episode ratings together, it comes together to make the average rating of 6.4, making this surprisingly my least favorite island dog. Wait, what? That can't be right. I feel like I like it more than Akala. But then again, there was 3 strong episodes I really liked in Akala, whereas there was 2 strong episodes for this arc. So maybe that's why it's lower than Akala when finding the average rating. But one thing for sure is that I don't hate this arc. If anything, it developed every single character in a fantastic way, progression they much needed. They even put Lily on a backseat, which I really admire, due to already having a lot of progression. But it seems like I just prefer for all creators just Ash training with his Pokemon to prove a lovable ass wrong. You can see more of my thoughts on that Ula Ula Island arc, described perfectly by Zach in my top 10 season 2 episodes of Sun and Moon, or by myself in separate reviews I made for that arc. Let me know in the comments down below though what your top 3 island arcs are though. I'd love to hear. For now though, I'm just gonna say Pony Island is on par with Akala, cause of the weird average ratings I got. But, if you did enjoy this video, then please be sure to consider leaving a like, a share, and if you're new here, a subscribe along with hitting that bell icon to stay in loop with all things Pokemon anime related. Thank you for watching everybody, this is HackInsomniac, signing out.